So today we are going to go over Bitcoin. We're going to talk about the technical analysis here and where I believe Bitcoin will end up next. So anyways, stick around to the end of the video because I have a lot for you all today. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice, but let's go over this. So as you can see right now with Bitcoin, we're at 110.6K. Currently, Bitcoin, it's recovering well, but I still personally believe that Bitcoin will continue a pullback here. A lot of people don't believe that, but I believe it's going to look very similar to the last pullback. And I'll explain exactly why. I've mentioned this inside of a lot of videos, why we'll probably end up pulling back just like before. But I don't know if people are hearing me on this, but I believe Bitcoin is going to have one more 30% pullback from the top. And it's already almost, 30%, right? But let's talk about where that is going to bring Bitcoin. So I already have a chart kind of like made out here for us. It's already set. So let's look at the daily chart for this. So I believe we will get that same 32% pullback that we had previously, right? That pullback that was from about January 20th all the way down to April. That was the Trump tariff pullback. And now we're kind of, if we get rate cuts like now, like soon, and we actually might be getting rate cuts this month, then this is all invalidated. Like Bitcoin's probably going to soar to the moon. Okay. But if we do not get rate cuts right now, or if something doesn't happen right now, or we just get some bad news, we're probably going to end up pulling back a little more. It might not be exactly 32% like the last time. It might only be a little bit of a drop down to 104K or 99K. Like I've been mentioning this, I believe 99K is a very good support. We've had it multiple times. So I believe we can pull back to 99K. But if it's an even nastier pullback, we'll end up seeing 85K because that is where that 32% area is. So that 32% pullback, and it almost looks like, I like to call this a stair step method, right? This is the stair step method, right? We're literally on a stair step right now, right? It's like a wave. After this pulls back, then the next wave, right? Then the next, then the next. That's pretty much what we're looking at here. And for this wave right here, the percentage upwards, let's check our range upwards. So if we were to go up after pulling back 32%, we could go up 70% from there, technically speaking, if we're looking at it from the perspective of previous price action. So 72% from previous price action would be the exact price target I've been talking about. 72% is around about 150,000. I'm gonna bring it a little bit higher here because I think this next pump is going to be that 150K pump. It's going to bring us to this area here. It's going to probably go a little bit above 150K. It'll probably end up bringing us here to this Fibonacci up here. So 150K is that next area. We are really just dealing with this next pullback first. We just need to get this next pullback out of the way. And then once that happens, we are going to be good. We're going to have a good, nice rally for this bull run. We just got to wait for this last pullback. And we might be at the tail end of this last pullback. We actually might be done pulling back. But I do want to mention some things that you have to be aware of, right? We have bullish news all over the place, but you also want to pay attention to stuff like this. So this is the 30-minute chart right here. Reason why I'm showing this, it's such a short-term chart, yes, but the long-term trend here is the blue line on the percent R trend exhaustion. Notice the long-term trend has came from the top. Now it's all the way at the bottom down here. And if it continues and extends out like that, that means that we are going to see that bearish movement down to 104K. That's the next support for Bitcoin. The short-term movement is upwards. So there is a possibility that you could see the short-term movement coming down with the long-term movement meeting it halfway and then both of them going up simultaneously at the same time. That could look like us starting to head towards 104K and then up before 104K, or going all the way down to 104K and then up. And there is a possibility we can just take off right now. There's always that possibility as well. As for the hourly chart is looking a little bit bearish too. I'm still leaning more towards the bearish short-term time, but long-term we're definitely bullish. We're definitely going to hit 150K, I believe, during this cycle, possibly. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice, but I do believe in the short term, we do look a little bit bearish. If you look at the hourly chart, kind of like how I was mentioning in the last chart, look at how it crossed here The long-term trend is now going towards the bottom. The short-term trend, though, is coming here towards the top. So it shows us that we might be a little bit bullish in the short term, but this is for the hourly chart. So the short term for the hourly chart is much shorter of a time frame than it is for the daily chart. Now, I believe that this is going to be another pullback here. Now, the MACD looks slightly a little bit bearish. It is kind of coming back a little bit. So there's a possibility that the MACD will start to have better trading movement. Now, for the 4-hour chart, the 4-hour chart on the percent R trend exhaustion, we can see the long-term trend is now coming up a little bit. Almost looks like it's meeting the short-term trend, like how we were talking about on the 30-minute chart. Look at how it wants to kind of meet and cross here. Hopefully it doesn't cross and go down. But right now we're at that inflection point where it could go either way. But right now we're hoping that it goes up. And there is a little bit of info telling us that it could go up. And that is the MACD. Now the MACD, you can see two lightly red shaded candlesticks at the MACD, indicating that buyers are starting to step in. But we're still bearish on the MACD. You can still see there's more selling pressure here. That's why it's in the red. And it could continue. There could be a continuation of selling, bringing it even down even further. So you definitely want to pay attention to that. And then if we come over here to the daily chart, we are seeing something similar on the daily. Kind of the short-term chart is coming up. The short-term trend is starting to curve upwards. The long-term trend almost looks like it wants to curve upwards as well. Also, the MACD just now almost pretty much ended its selling pressure, but it could be short-lived like this. The buying pressure was very short-lived right there, and I'll show you what that looks like. So this area right here, which is indicated by this pump here, that was very short-lived, and that's what the buying pressure was showing us there. So a lot of people got bull trapped, and I made a video talking about how this could be a bull trap, and it trapped the bulls right there. So the bulls actually got trapped at that area. Definitely watch. I can't even remember which video it was. I make so many videos. I can't remember which one it was, but that was a bull trap, and I mentioned it in that video. If you type in Marcellus bull trap, you'll probably end up seeing the video. But coming over here, we're also seeing a little bit of the same thing. We're seeing a little bit of green candlesticks coming in, but they're very, very small, almost like how it was over here on the MACD. So this could be a bull trap. We might see some moves bringing us up to 116K, stopping out right here, right at the bottom of here of this support, right at the top of the resistance. This being the resistance area, this being the support area. We might see us getting rejected around there. If we do pump going up to 116K, I feel like it might be a premature pump, and it could be another bull trap, right? That is what you really want to pay attention to. And then that would kind of look a little bit like this, right? And obviously you can be like, well, what about up here? Like we didn't even, okay, maybe we can put it up a little bit, but still a lot of people will probably be like, well, you can't really say this is the trend when it broke out of it right there. Yes, it broke out of it briefly, but again, that was the bull trap. And that's why we're now back into this trend. We broke out of it, got bull trapped. Now we're back onto this trend. So this trend, like I said, I think 104K is going to be that level, but then we do have the possibility to go below 104K, 99K and 85K to be exact. So those are the levels that I would really watch out for and pay attention to here with Bitcoin. Definitely be cautious. Definitely be cautious. Now, the weekly chart. The weekly chart tells us a whole different story. The weekly chart confirms everything that I've been saying, how we're bearish a little bit in the short term. And I love the way the weekly chart looks because it's almost textbook. And that's where I got this from. That's where I got this from because I noticed the pattern here. So if we go down another 32%, it's going to be the same exact thing. If we go up 70% like we did here, then that's going to bring us to 150K. And see how it looks so textbook. It looks so smooth. It's like a stair step. It's like a wave. It is the crescendo effect. Like this is literally what we want to be seeing inside of the market. So it starts off small, ends huge. Now, what we are also seeing over here inside of the percent R trading exhaustion is the pullback. So again, this is textbook. Came up, pulled back, had the next pump, came up again here, next pump, pulled back, next pump, up. As you can see, pulling back right over here. Probably going to stop halfway right there. And then from there, either we go down to 99K, well, 104K, 99K, or 85K. And then the next rise is going to be close to 150 or it's going to get to 150. So we're going to see that next rise coming soon. But yeah, I love the weekly chart. The weekly chart gives you all the information you need, not too much noise, just enough. So right now, I do still believe we're going to have that little pullback. Hopefully we break out and hopefully everything gets invalidated and hopefully I'm wrong and we could just keep going, right? But let's talk about this. We got some big news in Bitcoin. Sora Ventures launches $1 billion or $1 billion fund to support Bitcoin treasury firms in Asia. So this is pretty interesting, and I've been even noticing things out here. I mean, I'm in Thailand right now, and I just moved out here, and I've been noticing things. There are merchants actually accepting crypto. There's Bitcoin ATMs here, and I'm starting to notice a lot more people are messing with the crypto wave. When I was out here in 2023, I went to a shop, and I went to this shop. It was like a smoke shop. Y'all already know. Y'all already know what's going on here. I went to a smoke shop, but I was like, "Hey, do y'all accept crypto?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he was like, I was like, "Oh, okay," because I'm really into crypto. I make videos on crypto, and he's like, "Oh, really?" And then he was like, "Yeah, follow me on Instagram." I followed his shop's page on Instagram. He was like, "Yeah, we do crypto too. We accept crypto." So then I was like, "Oh, cool," but I didn't actually send him crypto because I feel like your crypto needs to stay with you. You can't be spending your crypto. Like spend your US dollars. US dollars are gonna go down. Crypto's gonna go up. All right. But anyways, Asia-based Sora Ventures today announced the plans. Asia-based Sora Ventures today announced plans to raise up to $1 billion in a new fund to support Bitcoin treasury firms in Asia. The VC firm said it has secured $200 million in initial commitments from partners and investors in Asia. So they are a Taiwan-based crypto venture capital firm. So that's pretty interesting. Out in Taiwan, they're making these venture capitals. So this is definitely going to continue to rise. There's just all these aspects that are going to send Bitcoin to the moon. It's just that in the short term, you have to be careful. You don't want to get bull trapped. You can end up losing a lot of gains like that. You do not want to get bull trapped. Like, let's say you're out of the market and you're waiting. You do not want to get bull trapped. You definitely want to be in the market, but still. All right. This is all I got for you all today. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Definitely hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, I'll be back with another video.